Hi, and welcome to Across the Valley. Thank you for watching this show again. Today we have a very special guest, Mr. Dewey Compton. How are you doing?
I'm good. Good. How are you?
Very good. Thank you for being here. We're very excited to talk about the things you're working on. He's a teacher for CTE, Career Technology and Education, at West High School, the Vikings.
At the Vikings, that's right.
Yes, that's right. Well, it's fascinating, Dewey, because we met and we've talked off air and obviously in the community. You basically, you teach at the high school and you give the students like skills and tools so that they can produce video content or audio content that can help them in the future, right?
Right, yeah. Yeah.
But could you tell us at large, like what is it that you do in your class for the kids in the high school?
Yeah, so I teach video production, and before I came to West High School, that didn't exist there. I came from another high school, Centennial, and then when Frontier opened up, Frontier High School, we lost a lot of our students to there, so they closed the program down, and I was looking for a new job. So I put into West High School, and they didn't have a program at the time, so we built it from nothing into something. So the goal is to basically give kids hands-on skills using video cameras and editing equipment. I mean, let me back up a little bit. So my job is I teach them to come up with stories. And so we do a lot of projects like public service announcements, commercials, documentaries, and music videos, things like that get them interested in video production and creating content that we can, that they can be proud of and that we can actually help the public and help our community.
Well, on that note, how do you get, for example, what kind of commercial or what kind of documentary or what kind of, how do you get the material or the content to working? Like just somebody knocks on the door and say, hey, would you guys want to work with me on this, or how does it happen?
No, I usually just, I have projects that I'll assign. Like for example, we just did a commercial for a 502 coffee company, which is a local coffee company in town, and one of the owners is a former West High student. Okay. And I just happened to run into her at Fish Grill down the road one day, and she remembered me, and we got to talking, and she said that she married a Guatemalan guy, and they started this coffee company. And so I'm like, oh, we need to have you come over to West High and just service some of your coffee. So we got them in to service. So every Friday they come to West High and serve us coffee, the staff coffee in the morning.
Oh, nice.
And so I just thought, hey, we need to do a commercial for you. Would you be willing to let my students do a commercial? And she's like, well, of course. So they gave us some of their coffee beans, and we met with them and kind of tried to find out, who are you? What is it that's unique about 502 Coffee?
Of course.
And they really kind of want to focus on education, and they want to focus on coffee as a community, it's not just a drink, it's a community of people. And so that's kind of what we did. So
very cool.
And my students they just finished that was the last project we did of the year. It was the coffee commercial for them.
Well, that is great. So are you telling me, like, if we tell the audience, if they have a small company or they own a business or something and they would like to have some video production, would the school be willing to do it?
Yeah, it all depends on my students. If I have, each year I get a whole batch of new students. So if they're willing to like take it on board and do it, I mean, yeah, that's what we did when I first started doing it. Was I had them go out and research, go find a company, a local company. Maybe your parents own a company, or maybe they own a business and they want us to do a commercial for them. That's where I first started doing this project, because I want it to be real world for them, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, if anybody needs something and there's something we can do, it's difficult because I only have them for like an hour a day, each class for an hour a day. So it's not like a full-on business that we can do that for them. But
of course,
but it can be a project that we can work on. It's just as long as the audience doesn't need something, like
right away.
Right away, yeah. So
well, and what kind of equipment do they bring on site? Do they bring phones? Do they bring cameras? What kind of equipment?
No, our district, the current high school district, and specifically my administration at West High have been really supportive about getting us professional equipment. I mean, there's lots of federal money and lots of there's lots of money for technology to buy what we need, and that's one of the reasons why we want to connect with you guys and to make sure that we're using the equipment that the industry's using, that we're teaching our kids the right skills that they need to get a job out of high school. And so I have a really nice green screen, kind of like you have here.
Yeah.
And,
I saw it. I was there.
Yeah.
It was very cool.
So, and we have DSLR cameras and camcorders, and we got professional audio recording devices. So, yeah.
And so, for example, are you going to have students through the summertime or no? Or they're on break right now?
Okay. Yeah, they're on break.
So you don't. Right now there will be no production, but you're preparing for the next cycle.
Yeah. I'm just preparing for the next year.
Excellent. And what grades of students do you have? Like from freshman to senior?
Yeah, I do. I have my class is mixed, so it's anywhere from freshmen to seniors in any given period, which can be challenging sometimes. But this last year, I had some really, really good freshmen that were just hardworking, really creative kids, and I hope to get them in the next couple of years in my advanced class. So we just built a podcast studio this year, so it's a really, really good opportunity for kids to kind of get up to speed on kind of the newer technology with what a podcast is and what's worthy to talk about, what's a good story out there, what's something that we can talk about to just kind of help each other get to know each other and help each other get to know our community a little bit better and what we can do to improve it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The other thing I was going to ask you, so how many years have you had the program in the school?
So, yeah, that's a good question. I think I've been there, this is my 16th year or 17th year. So I've been there 16 or 17 years. And
when you compare with West High and Centennial and Frontier, all the other ones, every high school has a program like yours, like this.
Well, not all of them, but it's growing. When I first started doing video production, I think there was only it was just me at Centennial and East High School were the only two that were doing video production. And it's really grown now. So we have it at Frontier, Liberty, Ridgeview, I believe Foothill has a program now, and Highland, and there's a few more other schools. But it's a growing industry, but it's kind of expensive. But there's to buy all the equipment. It's not like a regular math class or English class.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, the equipment is
a lot to manage and a lot to keep track of.
We'll be back with Mr. Dewey Compton from West High School, and we'll be back to Across the Valley.
Press play on fentanyl, there's no pressing rewind. Over 56,000 who overdosed and died from fentanyl wish they could have pressed rewind. Don't press play in the first place.
Welcome back to Across the Valley. We love to have today Mr. Dewey Compton from West High. How are you?
I'm good.
Very cool. And we were talking about your program, your CTE program. If you can give them a little reminder to the audience of what you teach at your high school.
Yeah, so I teach video production, And in that classroom, it's called a dual enrollment class, so kids get college credit for taking it. They get CTE skills, meaning hands-on skills, how to use a video camera, how to edit, computer skills. And then our goal is to hopefully give them a little hands-on experience, like what this is really like. And if they really like it, there's jobs out there in the industry where they could go into, and then they can start off right away, working at a news station or something.
Yes.
And
no, and
have the
also
skills.
I think now independently they can have a lot of jobs, because if you think about it, how many companies need like institutional videos to be made, or like training videos, or social media posts? That is the new thing. Everything is about posting and publishing. A lot of like even conferences, like a lot of the things people are learning them now more and more through like pre-recorded YouTube podcasts or what have you.
Right.
So I think it's great that they get skill, and like you said, I think there's going to be work on that for a long time. Not only a TV station, now everything gets published, so they could work independently for anybody. Yeah. Let me ask you something. You mentioned on the last break that you have won some awards, right?
Oh, okay,
with
right.
Your student. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's the Tulare County Office of Education puts on a contest called the Slick Rock Film Festival every year.
Nice.
And so this year we submitted a bunch of there's a category, there's lots of categories, and then next year we're gonna submit to almost every category. That's what I want to have my students do. But the one category we submitted was public service announcements, and there was one on the dangers of fentanyl and opioid use, and then the other category was flavored tobacco and vaping. And so our students at West High won first place in the flavored tobacco vaping PSA. And so we weren't able to go to the award ceremony up at Tulare, but they were invited to come up on stage and receive their award, and they gave us a huge backpack full of camera gear and stuff as a winning. Yeah, so
nice.
that was good. And they were really excited about winning too. I mean, when they found out that they won. And that's the thing, it's hard to really get the kids to buy into the benefit of why they should learn these skills, because they don't see the future of what could happen, like winning a contest. So it was a really great reward for them.
That is awesome. And you do that every year? Like there's different contests that you participate?
Yeah, there's different contests. It was a little bit slow this year because coming out of COVID, there wasn't a lot of stuff going on. And we usually put on a film festival here too, called the 24-hour film festival. Like all the video teachers, we kind of put together and organize it, but we haven't done it for a few years.
Here in Kern County?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And why you haven't done it?
It's a lot of work to plan it, and we just haven't had the time to do it. So it's been, I think it's been 2 or 3 years, but basically the kids have 24 hours to write, shoot, and edit a 3 to 5 minute video based off of a film type that we give them.
That sounds like that show of the chef that they say, here you go, and you have to go and cook something in 2 hours, no?
Yeah.
So that is wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I would say on the air right now that if we could get behind it and we can like publish the winners here, we would love to do it with you.
Okay.
Across the Valley.
I think we're going to try to change it up a little bit and maybe modify it, because like I said, it's a lot of work. We do it over a 3-day weekend.
Oh.
So they don't have exactly 24 hours just because of legality issues of kids staying up all night long or whatever. But we give them certain hours, like 4 or 5 hours on Friday to write the script, and then they have so many hours on Saturday to go film it, and then so many hours on Sunday to edit.
Oh, okay.
And then they have to turn it in.
So it's
but it's a total of 24 hours.
Yeah.
And
well, and I understand what you're saying, because sometimes like there are very, very nice ideas, but it's difficult to execute, or the legalities can get on the way. So you end up but if we can find a way to do it like that is sustainable and good, I think that would be great, because also they could like show their work while we do the show, or actually even on the commercial breaks of our station.
Well, I believe our county, Kern County, needs to get really on board with doing what like Tulare County's doing with their film festival, because it's a really well polished machine that they have there for the Slick Rock Film Festival, and they have lots of sponsors, lots of support. They've been doing it for probably 15, 17, 18 years. And so anyway, it's a great opportunity for our county to get involved. In fact, one of my students, I think you met them when they came in. They did a PSA on the dangers of fentanyl and that justice was coming for the drug dealers that are selling it.
Super dramatic.
Well, the district attorney's office, they're the one. We learned so much about it by doing this project, and the district attorney's office, they sent us a bunch of information about resources on the dangers of that. And so Cynthia Zimmer, she's our DA, she saw our video and she really liked it, but she was like, why do you have the Tulare thing at the end of it? We should have Kern County there. I said, well, it's for a film festival, but yeah, we need to do something for Kern County. And one of my colleagues, Lisa Kerr, she teaches video production at CTEC. She put together, like last minute, a vaping PSA contest for the county. Kern County, I think Kern County Health Department were the judges, and some kids won some awards and some stuff like that. But we need to do that on a bigger scale here for Kern County.
No, that's wonderful. And I've been, she's so cool, Lisa, and I've been in that facility. That's like fabulous, like state of the art, what they're doing there. So she actually put together a contest like that for. Yeah,
we had there's time during the year for us teachers to meet. What they're called professional learning communities, PLCs, and so all the video teachers met, and we were just talking about it. That the Slick Rock does this. We should do something here, and then she just kind of really quickly reached out and had some connections, and they put something together really fast. And we already had some PSAs finished, so we just submitted them to that. And I think I had a kid win 4th or 5th place in that category. So.
Well, that is fascinating. That would be very nice. And we would love to do this is very cool that we're talking, because sometimes it's also very nice to be humble enough to learn what other people are doing and actually kind of adopt it in our county, because also I believe that would generate an opportunity to work with other high schools and do share resources or share ideas.
Yeah.
And frankly, sometimes competition also creates excellence. Like it makes you wanna win the other high school, like a rivalry, like when you're playing basketball or football or anything. So we're gonna be back. We have another segment. Don't go anywhere. We're going to continue with Mr. Dewey Compton at Across the Valley. Thank you.
Attention all drug dealers, drug sellers, traffickers, and all who furnish illicit drugs. I'm coming for you. Those who engage in dangerous actions of distributing real or counterfeit pills, I am coming for you. Those who mix fentanyl with other drugs, then sell, furnish, and possess them, your time is coming to an end. Be advised. You who make profit from the young and weak, you who have made your business taking advantage of the lost and the hurting, I am swiftly coming for you. Those whose actions result in the death of another, I tell you, murder you have sold, manslaughter you have furnished. I, justice, am coming for you. Attention all drug dealers, drug sellers, traffickers, and all who furnish illicit drugs. You have been advised.
Oh, what you got, Dan? You can't have that on campus. Let's go to the dean's office.
Vaping disrupts sleep at night and causes you to sleep during the day. Vaping can deliver toxic metals like nickel and lead into your lungs. That's metal in your lungs.
Don't let your dreams become your nightmare. Spread the word. Get help. Call now.
Welcome back to Across the Valley. Thank you for being here with us, and thank you, Mr. Dewey Compton from West High. Thank you for being here. He's the teacher for CTE program at West High School, and we've been talking a little bit about all the programs that you have and what you teach to the students right now. Why don't you just give them a little summary in case they didn't pick up the last two segments?
So yeah, I teach video production at West High School and I've been there for about 16, 17 years. And the goal is to expose kids to the arts, media, and entertainment industry and see if that's what they're passionate about, what they want to go into. And my job is to teach them skills that they would learn in the industry. We introduce that to them at the high school level, and then hopefully by the time they graduate, they could get a job doing this type of work. Or there seems to be such a growth now in people being able to just do stuff on their own with cell phones and the quality.
Producing, publishing, everything is production and publishing. But on that note, I mean, something that we talk of the air, and it's very important. I think it's, what are the challenges that you see with our youth these days? What are the challenges that you see with this class of students that you're coaching, that you're teaching, as you go through this journey with them?
I think about that all year long. One of the biggest challenges I feel is teenagers don't have self-control. They allow their circumstances to control them. They allow these things right here. These are very powerful tools that control them, and they can't put them away. I mean, before phones were out, my kids were really involved in my class, and that was like the technology that they were interested in and attracted to. But now it's hard to really compete with TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and all the entertainment that's coming through, constant entertainment. I mean, who wouldn't want to be on this all day and just have fun and play? But there's important things in life to do, to get done, and education, and it's hard to compete with that.
Absolutely, and I would think also as a parent and sometimes as a teacher, so you don't want to cripple them that they're like left out from their group, because maybe that's where they're interacting, or that's a post they're doing, or the famous acronym now, like fear of missing out. So what are the thoughts of educators or the people in high school or something, like, how do we go through this? How do we manage that with the teenagers? Because I completely agree with you. It's like when you said they're disengaged, and when you're disengaged, you cannot put your efforts into something which creates other kind of cognitive issues.
Yeah, it's really challenging because in my class, especially kids that have the newer smartphones, can record really good quality video. So I welcome them to use this. I mean, I had one kid one year that he shot all of his videos on his phone, and he edited all the videos on his phone, and they were professional quality. It was really good stuff, very creative stuff. And it's like, so we have kids like that, and then we got kids that say that they're out there filming with their phone, but they're doing other things. So it's really challenging in my class because I want them to use their phone to utilize some of the tools. But again, like I said, it comes down to self-control. They let this thing control them instead of them, okay, I got to put this away and I got to focus on my work and get the work and get the projects done. So it's
Did any of this change after the pandemic? Like, the people became a little more dependent on screens?
Oh yeah, I think that
COVID?
that was like, if you think of like a garden, right? That was like the fertilizer that allowed this to grow.
Yeah.
And allowed them to just really get so addicted to this thing that they can't put it away. In fact, I've even talked to my students, like on our podcast, about phones and stuff. I'm like, what could we do as teachers? And they even tell the teachers, we just want you to take them away from us. We just want you to put them, tell us to put them away and take it away from us. That way I can get my work done. So they understand that it's a challenge. But as a teenager, gosh, I would want to be on this all the time too.
No,
but I just don't think. I think maturity-wise and mentally, they don't have that ability yet.
Well, it's like I've told my kids are 13 and 11. I told my son sometimes, like, when I grew up, when I was your age, I would be playing outside. I wasn't on the screen. But he's very smart. He says, yeah, because there were no screens back then.
Yeah.
So it's such a tough thing. It's such a thing of right now. I do think it's hard to generalize because obviously there's always like good sound students and good sound human beings that are trying to make a difference, and also there's always the ones that maybe are distracted a little bit, they're not finding their way. But I do think that at some point in the educational system, so I think something's gotta be made like at a cohesive level to help them reel back that attention. Because if you're telling me this, it kind of validates some of the things I've seen when I go to these high schools and I talk to the students and everything, that it's very challenging. And it must be challenging for you when you're trying to teach them something and they're like anywhere but here.
Right. Yeah, I even have adult friends who can't even put this down when you're having a conversation. And my kids get on to me all the time, like if we're at the dinner table and I'm doing something or working on my phone, they get on to me about it. But I feel like I can put it down and have a conversation. Like right now we're having a conversation. I'm not addicted to my phone. And I think as an educator, what we really appreciate from our parents is that they're really in tune to that if their kids aren't doing well in school, take their phones away from them.
Oh yes.
So
as an educator, that's what you would like to see from the parents of your students, is like, please do something about the phone.
Yeah, we just need to work together with parents and communicate better. It's just, I mean, to be honest, I mean, if I was to call every parent that, kids are out of control on their phone, I would be making.
You wouldn't have time to work.
Yeah, so we need to come up with a really good policy that works well for teachers, across our school, and it works well for the kids, even though they may not like it. But
okay, so here's a nice thing as we're closing the show. How about if we talk it off air with your students, and we make a campaign on air about awareness of like putting your stuff away, your phone away, so you can have a meaningful moment with someone.
Yeah,
we could do that.
Yeah.
Okay, we're closing the show. Thank you so much for coming to visit us. Last time I went to visit you to your class and I spoke, and now you come here. Yeah. And bye, Mr. Dewey Compton from West High School. And thank you for being here. And thank you for tuning in Across the Valley. As you know, we are every weekend here on KUBI. And we'll see you next time in Across the Valley. Thank you for watching the show today.